long-form, open discussion podcast. Topics include sensitive issues such as sex, religion, politics, race, gender, death, BDSM, MFN, CFNM, MMF, MMFM, and healthcare. Do not try this at home.
Get your motherfucking ass up when I'm talking.
So hold on tight. The action starts now.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
And here we go.
And we're live as we absolutely could be. After a week off, after a lot of hardship and rocky roads, we're back.
Damn.
So let me tell you, almost in a blazing display of irony, the meatwad I worked for texted me because now I'm in this point in my life where the jobs that I have don't always have consistent work, which is a bizarre fucking way to be. But because I haven't dealt with that since I worked like I was 15 at Burger King. They're like, we don't need you this week.
You mean the modern economy don't have continuous work?
No. This is Trump's economy. We are an economic paradise. I'm saying.
I'm just saying. Are you trying to relate it to 1950 after the war, where people could punch a clock for 40 hours and drink beer?
All I know is since probably I was old enough to drink, I've worked jobs where I was needed at least Monday through Friday, no matter what happened in the world. He texts me because I'm cool like that with my my hierarchy, and he's like, "I got a job for you in the morning. Be here at 7." He fucking said, "I have a job for you. I'll be here at 7." So I come in, and almost like the universe fucking teabagging me. This son of a bitch takes me into his office because I know when I'm in trouble, when people are kind of being nice to me. So I know bad news is about to come. Because if people are like dicks to me, I know I'm going to work that day.
Yeah.
So California and its infinite wisdom had taken a little bit longer with their MVR, motor vehicle records.
You mean? What is a little bit longer? What's a little bit longer?
Well, apparently 4 months, because something came in on my MVR that put me 1 point over the threshold for the allowable points for me to drive for that company, and I was summarily let go of.
You was discharged.
I was terminated. My employment was no longer feasible. I've never been fired.
So this was your exit interview then?
Yeah, basically. And I got free cookies out of it.
Okay.
So at least there was something to walk away from.
So how, before we go into the rest of it, how sure are you that they actually just received the MVR back?
Because he gave me a copy of it.
Okay, because typically you can't put anybody on the insurance unless you have a copy of the MVR to begin with.
Yeah, it added, awesomely, it added an old charge on my birthday. So July 30th is when it was added to the record.
Oh, because that's kind of crazy. It sounds to me like y'all was in the middle of a slowdown and they knew you had high points, but when they hired you, they could use you. And then when hours got kind of tight, newer man on the pole, and then the point allowance, they decided you was the easiest to let go of.
No, this is the oil field. People are straight shooters. They're honest with everyone. Okay. But I know it happened. I know this wasn't a thing. This wasn't like an anomaly. So what happened was before I
have you done anything recently where you could have sent some karma out into the universe? Like have you rocked someone's boat or anything that they could have come back? This is 100% what happened. So before I left California, I made a stupid mistake in my semi truck and received a ticket with 2 citations. One was driving in the left lane because as a commercial vehicle, that's a no-no.
and the other one was speeding over 10 miles an hour. And so what I had done was I gave my $100 to Mr. Ticket, which is shout out to Mr. Ticket. You could be a fucking sponsor, you cock swallowing, ball juggling thunder Jews. And I mean that in a nice way. And so they apparently fought hard for me in court, and then I got all this pages upon pages of bullshit, and they said, yeah, blah blah blah, you just have to do traffic school, which you can't do traffic school for a commercial vehicle, so I don't know why they sent that to me. And then they said you can pay off a fine, and the fine was a ridiculous amount from California, and they said you can pay it monthly. So I said, okay, I'll pay it monthly, and I'll try to drag it out as long as I can.
So
well, I have...
Then it submits.
Right. So, but I have 3 months. I have 3 months left on it. I have $107 left to pay on this fine. But I guess it was close enough for them to go, well, let's just push this bitch through.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And so, but here's the thing: I'm trying to look at things in a positive note. Per the last episode, Eating Assets, now available on Spotify and iTunes and where you get your local podcast. I hated that job. I fucking hated it. It was soul-sucking and terrible.
Yeah.
So it freed me up to do other things, which is not be employed, which I would rather do than work in the oil field.
Yeah.
So now I'm like one of those dudes standing behind
from California or whatever. You being in California from out there, y'all 100% equal opportunity, and it's okay to have a female head of house. A female breadwinner. There's nothing wrong with it.
Well, and the thing is I'm one of those dudes standing at the KFC counter holding onto my wife's waist from behind because she has all the money.
Yeah. Oh, that's fine.
Which is the universal. That's the universal sign of she pays for everything.
Yeah, of course, 100%.
Because I could be like one of those dudes that's like that's still like fuck that bitch, but instead I'm out there like I'm gonna show her a little respect because she can pay the bills right now.
Yeah. Well, that's modern feminism at its finest.
Yeah, she's not a feminist. She's a saint and a son of a bitch.
Oh shit! Damn. Yeah,
so that's
like
me
that,
currently.
I seen an old nigga have a bunch of mini strokes and then try and lie and say he didn't have any stroke, that nothing happened.
He's like, I didn't have a stroke. I'm sorry. I'm having an asthma attack.
Yeah. They got angry and wanted to punch people and shit and stuff because they tried to put him in the ambulance and that's just what it is. Yeah.
You stop telling me I'm having a stroke, you fucker.
Yeah, crazy as fuck. Like, yeah, nigga, you're dying and you're gonna turn away the ambulance. Yeah, you're a genius. And nonetheless, he lit a cigarette. Of course, he's gonna light the cigarette.
Well, having a stroke can be a very painful and embarrassing process for everyone.
Yeah, each to their own, though, I guess. I mean, if you want to die, but I wouldn't suggest getting behind the wheel of a 3/4 ton pickup and driving 65 mile an hour on the highway with innocent families. But do you?
That's how you want to live. That's his path. That's his journey. Sometimes you want to put people's lives in danger. Sometimes you want to blow a guy in an Escalade. Who knows?
Damn. Hell yeah. That's awesome. So, any prospects on the employment, the money revenue stream?
Well, I'm glad you asked that question. In the continuing saga of my life as a huge goddamn abortion, I might be a trash guy.
Well, you always supported you always supported abortions, didn't you?
Well, as a liberal, I love them.
Okay, all right. So,
I wish we could view them. I wish we could view them.
Abortion, yeah. I mean, because if you were anti-abortion, then you'd be anti-you, and then that could be dangerous for you.
I think it's important that the universe makes a choice on its own body and who it wishes to shit on, and so
I think you should stick thumbtacks in your knees while you shit.
You know what? My granddaddy used to tell me that, and I just don't think it's going to get me anywhere. But I do have a prospect on Friday. On Friday, I started a background check, and I pissed in a cup so I can pick up people's trash.
All right, so let me ask you this: do you ever feel yourself slowly becoming your ancestors?
the white people from Russia that came over on the land bridge?
Or the man that worked at Ford and smoked cigarettes and.
No, I'm gonna be like my aunt who threw herself off a bridge and drowned.
Oh, okay.
Which is what I'm gonna shoot for.
I've seen that. I mean, I came to that conclusion, but it's positive to hear you say it. You're supposed to be
at this point. I would rather
own character.
Well, at this point, I figured I'm no good at anything, and so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna help my wife prosper in what she wants to do, and I'll just be a supportive husband. That's what my lot in life will be.
Yeah, well, I mean, everybody has a role to play. There's no I in team.
And my role will be a reversed one.
Yeah, reversed 100%. Assume it. You know what I mean? And that way, if you stick thumbtacks in your knees while you're shitting, you're already used to it, and you got calluses, and you're able to kneel easier.
I was wondering where you're going with that. Yeah, so she's gonna make the money and then
cruise, if you want to. Well, you could tell her you got a job and you could just drive down the freeway a couple of exits and blow old men in the rest area.
Does that pay?
I'm sure it fucking does. I mean, you got wealthy old white tourists coming to northern Michigan. I'm sure some of them want to catch a nut at a rest stop.
I'll tell you what, I'm not scared to suck a dick, and and I mean that in like the pastoral way. You know what I mean?
I'm just saying, the fact that you was referencing that you're cool with your superiors, that they text you and communicate with you and stuff, like, I thought that's where you were already going with it.
That I blow old men on the freeway? Yeah. What are you doing? I'm at exit 75. I'll call you back.
Yeah.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cook.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna cook. I'm gonna clean. She's gonna come home. She's gonna peg me.
Well, I mean, this shit, that might be an exciting life. I mean, you've tried everything else. I presume you haven't tried that, but we're going to pretend that you haven't.
Yeah, if we're looking at the job count, this would be 54.
Yeah, 54.
And so, short of like the medical
subservient husband, filling that out, putting that onto your resume,
Well, short of the medical profession, I think I've done everything.
Well, I mean, getting pegged would kind of be medical, huh?
Well, it depends on how hard she pegged me.
And then, truck stop or rest area fellatio, I mean, because you're kind of doing fucking, scrotum examinations.
I would probably just be like a lot lizard. I'd probably wait for the guy to pull up in the truck because they don't clean those bathrooms often.
Yeah. Yeah. But at least there, you could offer and tell them to splash a little fresh water on the tallywhacker before you put it in your mouth.
Just dunk my hand in the toilet, little. There you go. Peel the skin back, wipe the smegma off. See, I told you I know medical stuff.
At work the other day, this old nigga was pissing or something, and one of the boys, turned their head in shock, that the old man was pulling his dick out to piss or whatever. And I told him, I said, don't worry about it. I said, gravity done took that motherfucker, and his whole dick done turned into a swole head.
Jesus. So he's got a bell going on?
Yeah. Ain't nothing but some stretched skin and a fat head.
Jesus Christ. You ever seen like an old guy in a locker room drying his balls with the hairdryer?
No, I don't spend too much time in locker rooms, but I mean, yeah, each to their own.
Well, I assume you and a few other people hadn't seen that kind of shit, and I've taken up your slack. Because when I worked at LA Fitness, and I would go in and like check the locker rooms and stuff, there's always an old dude up there, and he's got that goddamn hairdryer, and he's fucking cleaning his taint as if it's too paper thin and sensitive to use a towel on.
I'm just saying, well, shit. I mean, it already sounds like you've got like an associate's degree in the rest area idea.
I've seen a lot of old man taint. I think
that's what I'm saying. Like,
that's good. If I was gonna do a Journey cover band, it would be called Old Man Taint.
Old Man Taint. I love it. Come on.
Yeah, just a small town girl living in a lonely world.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's
so
exactly
where did the Methodist part of our title come from? Is that whole special weight with you in your heart somewhere?
It's just a quote from one of my favorite movies, and it's a movie I like because it kind of pisses off some people that I don't like the original. True Grit, the Coen brother version. And, you know, you got the purists that are like, yeah, John Wayne. Well, in the Coen brother version, when they go up to the old dugout by the river, owned by Greaser Bob, and then they're trying to find out who's in there, and he goes, a Methodist and a son of a bitch. I just thought it was a good line. I'm like, I'm calling that week, or this week, the title. And also last week, because I was ready and raring to go, but Feliz Cumpleaños, you were celebrating your born day, as they say in the hippity hop community. I had made a promo picture for the header of our great friend, the dearly departed Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump, standing next to each other. One of many, many, many pictures I have together. And because it was fresh.
Conclusion. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Well, it was fresh on people's minds last week.
Yeah.
The body was still warm, and there's just at this point, since it's been a week.
So you realize that probably wasn't even him that died. You know, he's probably living on a fucking, you know, resort somewhere. You know, still fucking pimping kids.
Yeah, I saw that online.
Okay.
I'm
saying
any
people
situation,
with wealthy connections. Yeah, they you know, they very rarely fucking die or go to prison. So if you put it together, and the odds is, I mean, shit, the nigga probably hanging out with Tupac.
No, Tupac's dead.
I know he's dead. I was being facetious on your behalf.
No, Tupac's dead. You can't say that.
Oh God. Did I strike a nerve in your multicultural compassion?
Well, I happen to be the world's biggest Tupac fan, so
I don't believe that.
I don't either. I think I know one of his songs, like "Keep Your Head Up." No, dear Mama. There you go. Wait, no. Changes.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So you found one album on YouTube and hit replay.
Yeah, basically. No, I saw Poetic Justice, and I'm like, I always think one of his songs is the theme from that movie.
That's funny as fuck.
You know, he was in that band. He was in Digital Underground with the guy Shock G from Humpty Hump.
Yeah, I don't
was
even.
in
You know, there's a lot of stuff about Tupac that I don't think people even know. But you know, another topic, another episode.
They don't. A lot of people don't know he got fucking raped in prison.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he did he?
By Jeffrey Epstein. Here's a weird thing about Epstein. Here's the thing that not a lot of people have talked about.
This nigga said the white nigga raped Tupac, Jeffrey Epstein, the nigga that died. That's funny as fuck.
Look at Jeffrey Epstein. Look at those pictures. He kind of looks like a white Obama. Hold on, a whiter Obama.
Oh shit.
He kind of looks like he kind of looks like if Obama went on Chappelle's show and they did him up to look like a white guy, like they did Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
That's what Jeffrey Epstein looks like.
Yeah, I don't know. See, I come to the conclusion that I don't even think Trump's ever had sex. We was talking at work. I think he's just a cunt grabber. I think he collects women and shit like rich niggas do cars and shit like that. But when you get bored with cars, you collect humans. You know what I'm saying? Because I guess humans would be the bigger prize if you was narcissistic in that manner and had the money to do it. But we was talking at work or whatever, and you know the conversation came up about him and then this dude and all the other shit and all the accusations. I don't think Trump's probably ever had sex. I think he's probably like Hugh Hefner, and he had artificially inseminated his kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think he's just a cunt grabber for show. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. I think he made love. I think like every sex scene with him was like any sex scene from like the late 70s, any movie from there. You know what I mean? Kind of hairy chest, laying there, slowly kissing like a Barbra Streisand type character.
Maybe. I mean, he might have had sex in his mid-20s, but I'm saying I don't think the nigga's cut nothing in like 30, 40 years. You know, I think he's just a cunt grabber. I think he fantasizes about a little bit of Playboy shit he was doing back in 1985, and that's where that lies. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I wonder if Melania blows him.
No, she don't. No, hell, fuck no.
She's too proud to beg.
She's got a goddamn, yeah. She probably puts fucking, roots on nigga and fucking guns down.
Do you think he has the Secret Service banger?
I think he probably got some motherfucking light skinned fucking 25-year-old running up in that ass.
Probably got one of the fucking younger Kennedys.
Shit, he probably got motherfucking Barack up in that bitch gunning her.
Well, I bet you she sneaks away. She puts on like that old headband like Eleanor Roosevelt, and she fucking takes off behind the West Lawn, and she sneaks over, and Obama's like, "Hey Mel, we're out here in the limo. Michelle's naked. Come sit on this dick.
Yeah,
Come get this. Come get this dick. Come get this dick. You know you want it.
Yeah.
We'll be waiting for you. We're in the limo by the West Lawn."
Yeah.
Bernie watches. He's like, "Get it,
Yeah.
get it."
Yeah.
He's taking pictures with one of them old
Bernie's
disposable
a fister.
cameras and shit.
I bet Bernie's a fister. Yeah, he probably does the pussy fist and then fucking and then.
Nah, Bernie can't get hard anymore.
No, that's why he.
Okay, he's like, "I'm gonna stick my hand in there like a department store mannequin, and then I'm gonna make a fist, Mr. President. African Americans do not have enough opportunity in this country to fist."
Oh, that's great. That's savage.
Yeah. What was that dude? What were those guys from the Olympics?
The Russians.
Oh, what was that guy's name that did the fucking
Chinese?
fist?
I mean,
Uh,
I don't know. I don't watch the fucking Olympics. Who watches the fucking Olympics?
no. It was like in the
Nigga, I
the
don't
Mexico
watch
City
football.
Olympics.
What the fuck I look like watching
Whoa!
goddamn
Hey,
Olympics?
hey!
Who's gonna watch Olympics in Mexico?
Jesus
Only
Christ,
thing
Dale
fucking
Earnhardt,
Americans
calm
wanna
down.
watch from, Mexico
No,
is
in
fucking
Mexico
Olympic
City,
weekend.
it was what year was it? It had to be an even number, right? 60,
What was it?
68.
Fresh water?
No,
Oh,
those two
Mexico
fucking
City took
the
the
two
gold in
African
fresh
American athletes, they raised their fist with the black glove. The black power salute.
No, I know nothing about it.
It was in
No, I know nothing.
It was
about
in Mexico City, and those fucking two guys. The one
You're
dude.
thinking of some shit with Colin Kaepernick.
No, this was in 1968, bro. This is way before
I don't
black
know.
people didn't have. No, and
Nigga,
so
I
what
wasn't
he's
alive
doing.
in '68.
God damn it! I'm trying to fucking make a Bernie point about fisting, and you're destroying it. What I was gonna say is, Bernie's like, "Mr. President, in 1968, two black athletes raised their hands in a fist, much like I'm fisting Melania." So that joke's run its course. Black power.
Bullshit.
Yeah,
Bullshit,
she's sitting there
nigga. It's
creaming.
funnier now
She's
than it was
creaming.
before.
She's creaming all over his gnarled, wrinky old Jewish hand with the fucking gray nails. He's like, "Black power." She's like, "Oh, you."
Motherfucking hands. Them old ripples and stretch skins and bony ass knuckles probably busting the fuck out of goddamn G spot.
Probably it's probably like having anal beads. Just his forefinger's got like 6 knuckles on it.
Yeah, I bet that nigga just be like pissing in the corner and shit in the White House. You know what I'm saying? Just to leave his mark there, like an old hound dog.
I personally cannot see Bernie Sanders sitting in the White House.
Why?
I love his
Tell me why.
idea. I'm saying aesthetically. Like I like him as like a fringe guy. When everything goes wrong, he gets to step in and go, "Well, Mr. President, I can fix it." No, he never says I. He says we. We together can fix this. But to see him every single day, Bernie Sanders, he's like, "I am terribly shocked to hear of the events today in Dayton, Ohio." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Walking up, got that shoulder shrug a little bit going on.
But
All the fucking hip.
Look, so let me clarify. I'm not a fucking. I don't tend to lean left on the majority of items. I don't tend to lean either way. Really, both parties are fucking corrupt. So But I think he's talking about some of the issues that plague us versus pushing the envelope and sweeping shit under the rug on things that are fucking smoke screens. But the American people are so afraid of reflecting in their own houses that I don't think we're going to be able to act on any of it, you know. So, I mean, primarily criminal justice reform and the attitude that we have towards drugs that everybody obviously supports but as a people, we have a bunch of disconnected old-ass niggas that are bought and paid for making decisions for us. So we're going to continue to farm human beings and destroy each other's lives while we're doing the same thing that we're destroying people for doing.
Mr. President, black people do not destroy. They build each other up. That motherfucker talks to Killer Mike.
I'm just saying, man, like these motherfuckers want slaves, submissives, and weak and broke down, controlled fucking individuals that continue to perpetuate the mythical fucking economy that we have without even understanding that the money that they're working for is imaginary. So, I mean, the dollar bill is imaginary. Its value only becomes strong through the perception that we as citizens have in it. So, basically, we're working for imaginary trades. That's what we do. We trade our times for the perception of value.
That was deep as fuck. You talk like a book.
I'm a savage nigga. I just, you know, it gets lost in translation sometimes because of the way I speak.
Yeah? It's all that ding-a-dang do in your voice.
I thought about writing a book, nigga.
Was it a book on tape?
Know, I don't know how to spell. I don't know how to spell anymore. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I spell like I speak. So, and you know, I butcher it. You know, and all these goddamn word nazis out here. You know what I'm saying? They have a fucking field day with it.
A motherfucker out there, you.
But I could probably hire some like 22-year-old fucking, you know, college graduated fucking genius white motherfucker wearing glasses to fucking edit it for me.
Yeah, but people are gonna be sitting there halfway, and 10 minutes in, they're gonna pause it and go, "What the fuck is a holler?"
Yeah, they'd be like, oh.
And then
shit,
somebody like Bernie Sanders will step up.
nigga.
Mr. President, a holler is where a stream and a mountain meet together in a crevasse that dribbles down to a creek.
Yeah. Or overpaid white people go and make money laying natural gas pipelines. Yeah, so that's what a holler is.
That's what a fucking holler is, dude.
Well, I was talking about the union side, not the non-union side, because the non-union side is definitely not overpaid. But we stay working, so that's what's up.
That sucks. Are you going to come out to North Dakota with me and fuel locomotives?
I don't know, man. I thought about North Dakota a bunch of times and stuff because, you know, I had some things going on in my life recently, and I felt that my position may be strained as repercussions of some decisions that I made. And those are consequences that I will probably fucking accept with integrity if that may be because you know I'm a firm believer, man, that bad things happen when good people do nothing, and sometimes you got to speak truthful on matters, and accountability is a motherfucker, but sometimes when you hold situations accountable, you crucify yourself, you know, kind of like the nail that sticks out gets hammered philosophy, you know. But I'm not sure. North Dakota is definitely, you know, a parachute for anyone in America. Most people never even been taught about North Dakota, much less come into their vocabulary or on the radar for work. But North Dakota is like the parachute for any fucking American that ever wants to make a dollar doing anything they may or may not even be aware of yet.
Yeah, North Dakota is very terrible. You're right.
But it's got its own unique qualities, Sean. Like, I think it's easy to be lost in translation because
it's
so
a terrible
far out.
place.
It's very barren in a lot of places. But if you really want like economic stability and growth, and you want to be in an environment that is absolutely brand fucking new, and if you can put your money together, there's probably a gang of fucking opportunity there for individuals.
There's always a gang of opportunity. But here's where
Go ahead.
okay, I'm about to put on my judgmental hat. So, it would be fine if you weren't inundated with a fucking plethora of just. I guess what I'm trying to say is North Dakota doesn't attract the highest percentage of Americans, and so
Okay.
it would be fine
So
if there
what
were
you're
like
saying-
like-minded, happy, joyful, non-drinking, not from Arkansas. You know,
Okay,
but
so
ultimately
in
it's like
retrospect, in retrospect, can you give me a colorful picture of the local environment you're in now with the typical description of your coworkers that you've been around?
that's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. It's
Okay.
here, and then I would go to another state, and I would still be here.
Okay, but that's almost anywhere in America. But would it not be better to be in an environment where the housing, roads, schools, and the money is new?
No, because much like everybody out there, I have no intention of staying there. I have no intention of
Yeah.
longevity. I go out there, and I think, and the employers know it. They know it. I know nobody's going out there for the long term. Most people are like, kind of like what we're talking about. We're kind of stuck. So we're gonna go out there and give hundreds of hours of our fucking lives away for pay,
Yeah.
and then we're gonna go
Yeah,
back
but what do
once
you-
we've
what do you
paid off
do
some
with
credit
that pay?
cards.
Yeah, yes. But what is the idea? So, all right. So, if you break it down and you look at it, so you're in a financial situation, as most Americans are, and then you have an opportunity to go to a place where you don't have those problems, where the money is plentiful, where you can maintain a consistent form of employment, and your family can prosper. And the moment you start to prosper, you leave there and you go back to the same original place, and whether it's in multiple places or not, that caused you to be in the financial situation and dire straits that forced you to go to North Dakota numerous times. And you repeat this vicious cycle. Instead of doing the strange thing and staying where money could be plentiful and the home and the family could stay stable for an extended period of time, possibly indefinitely, and actually meet and surpass your goals. You go there and you put a little money up and you leave, and then you stabilize briefly, and then you get back into a bind and you go back to North Dakota. So I say that because I was in this vicious cycle myself several times, and since I came out here, I've reached a point where stability is around the corner if I quit buying goddamn tires. But North Dakota, man, has fucking a buffet. North Dakota's a fucking buffet. As long as you want to fucking eat, there's food. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm just saying those aren't
What
conducive
quality
to
of
what
life
I.
are you after? You know what I mean? Do you
Because
want
no,
something
because
to
what I'm
think?
saying is
Do you wanna
those
be
aren't the
home
things
every
I want
night?
in life. Those are the things I don't
do you
want. I
want?
don't want in life. I don't want to be driving a truck. I don't want to be putting hundreds of hours a week in a month. I want to. The only reason I would be considering going out there is because I had a lifestyle up to recently, and now it's not sustainable. And I would go out there to pay those things off, and then as soon as those things are paid up, I would leave, and then I would use that as a lesson learned.
And then
The only reason is because
then
my
do what?
burn level is so high.
and then do what?
And then do what? What do you do after you leave?
Not be away from my family in a place that's negative 40 degrees, driving a truck 100 hours a week.
Okay. All right. So what is your plan rate to stabilize? Your plan to stabilize your burn rate and continue quality of life?
Pay off my credit cards.
Okay. Well, there's got to be something that surpasses that, because more than credit cards has to have you in a bind, and it can be local work environments. No matter if it's California, Florida, Michigan, New York, it doesn't really matter. 90% of the fucking country is struggling paycheck to paycheck, and then then you have a place like North Dakota where you don't have to struggle.
It's a struggle living out there. Quit making it sound like it's a wonderful place. It's not a wonderful place. There's a lot of money, but there's also a lot of hours, and most people don't live out there with their families. And most people work a job.
So there's also slowdowns, and there's also 2-week vacations every 6 weeks if you want them. You know what I'm saying?
I like I said, no, I just took it. Like I said,
we're at in the country. Can you find an unlimited amount of hours? Can you find a 2-week vacation that you can afford to take every 6 weeks with brand new fucking housing, perfect fucking roads, brand new vehicles that are paid for? Where else out in the country? Because I haven't seen it. I've been all over the country.
Let me restart. I made a mistake when I used my grant because I looked at numbers. Because when I used, for anybody listening out there, I used a Workforce Investment Act signed into law by a Democrat, Bill Clinton, which was federal grant money allotted every year to each state to provide a grant for training for displaced workers. Every state has it. Every state has money for it. All you have to do is qualify for it. So, being young and naive, I saw the 90%. And the 90% was with your CDL. CDLs get 90% higher rate. You can get a job driving a truck. You can apply someplace. They will call you within the hour. That's fine. I made a mistake of doing that.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, right, so I get what you're saying. Okay, right, you did something that became a double-edged sword, something that can allow you to prosper, also becomes a fucking noose around your neck and fucking, it hangs you, it puts you out there to fucking dry, it exposes you, it sucks the fucking life from you, it's not pleasing, it's not satisfying, there's no sense of fucking accomplishing it, and no matter how much money you fucking make, it's a machine, it's a grind mill, and you come out used up,
exactly,
bitter, fucking with hemorrhoids on the other side. Okay. With that being said, North Dakota is a place that you can go to and you can fucking prosper and you can put enough money up if you consolidate and you actually did take your family there for a period of fucking time, and you manage your money appropriately, that you could create an environment to prosper and meet your goals and start a business, start a pharmaceutical company, start a fucking tree house building company, whatever the fuck it is you want to do, is what I'm saying. The keys to your future can be handed to you in a place like North Dakota if your mind is right. But if your mind is not right, you're going to be in prison every fucking day. And that goes for being in Florida, it goes for being in California, anywhere. If you don't have your mind in the right fucking place with any situation, you're going to be in prison. It's going to be a work release. You're going to be fucking miserable. You're going to be depressed. You're going to hate every day. You're not going to have any sense of satisfaction or accomplishment in anything you fucking do, regardless of the amount of money you make. But with that being said, having spent so much time in North Dakota, I had burnt out on North Dakota for a while because I had been in this vicious cycle of go out there, start to prosper, be lonely, and start to miss my wife. I would drag up and go home, and vice versa. I'd keep doing this whole broken cycle. Every time I start to prosper, I'd get distant from the house. I'd go home. The money locally wasn't enough to sustain my life at all. I would be on the verge of losing everything I had again. I'd go back out there, I'd hustle, and I'd start to get back on my feet. I'd do the same fucking thing. And by the time I had got the wife on board to go and stuff, when I got back out to North Dakota, I was just burnt the fuck out. I was mentally fucking fatigued. There was nothing, I didn't have any ambition left in me, but I still had responsibilities, and that's how I wound up where I'm at now. But North Dakota,
Jesus Christ.
Learn,
brought to you by the fucking North Dakota Tourism Board. If anybody's been out there, for anybody that listens, North Dakota, I don't care if you're trying to use it as a goal-setting place. North Dakota, there's a reason God put all the money in the United States in that place, because it is terrible. It's cold, it's barren, it's ugly.
Well,
I would rather not have that. I'd rather not have
that. North Dakota, man, I would rather not have it. Likewise, I'm not there, but there's shit to do in North Dakota, man. I had never tried to assimilate to the community until this last time, man. And then there was shit, like we went to the fucking park, we seen the buffaloes, you know what I'm saying? They had the fucking lakes, they had shit to do. But more importantly, North Dakota gives you the environment where your kids can actually, go to a school that's fully funded and not overcrowded. The roads don't beat the fuck out of your vehicles. The housing's brand new,
man,
and it can afford you to
in
go
the fucking roads
anywhere you want, numerous times.
I know you spent a lot on tires. I know you spent a lot on tires, but you can't be mad at the roads. I'm just saying.
And the biggest thing is zero salt on the road. Zero salt. They don't rush
the
fucking
I get that. Hey,
out. You know what I'm saying?
Calm down. All I'm saying is
every 6 weeks, 6 weeks you can take a vacation anywhere you want in the world.
Yeah, and I'm sure. All I'm saying is, and like I said, I still have the judgmental hat on. I haven't taken it off. I absolutely no longer in my life, for any reason, even as a goal-setting device, want to work in a setting where I go outside, put on leather work gloves, have to wear steel toe boots, and here's the other thing I noticed: shave my fucking face. I have never been in any oil field job or anywhere in North Dakota where I've ever seen an SCBA. We didn't even have them at this last place. So I don't know why the fuck they wanted me to shave a face.
They've gotten a little better, I think, because they had some Mexican boys collapsing some tanks.
But here's the most important thing. Here's the most important thing.
More profound with that.
Our states are moving into, and I'm going to say this in the Bernie Sanders voice, our states are moving into the choice and out of archaic states of mind where we are making the choice of recreationality towards things people can choose that no longer harm their bodies. I don't want to piss in a cup. I don't give a fuck if sacrificing that shit gets me closer. I don't want to piss in a cup.
I'm going to give you the keys. I'm going to give you the keys to that. And I'm going to tell you like this. If you're homeless, you don't have to piss in a cup, right? And,
yeah, no, I get that, but 100 hours a week in North Dakota is not the only way to make a living.
I'm not talking about generational wealth, right, where it's been passed down through your family. I'm talking about people like you and me that come from fucking absolutely nothing, like the edges of the fucking universe with not a fucking pot to piss in. There's wealthy people.
Well, a cup to piss in.
But those wealthy people, they did the shit that nobody else wanted to do to get there. You know what I'm saying? And you can be in a crowd of 1,000 fucking people. You can want to be in a nice air-conditioned office and not wearing leather work gloves. But there has to be a road to get there. Somebody has to do the shit. Somebody in the family, somebody in the circle has to do the shit that it takes to step up to where another motherfucker don't have to wear those leather gloves ever again. You know what I'm saying? But to not have a roadmap or blaze a fucking path to, you know, what are you willing to do? I mean, you know some amigos you can put your hands on some fresh raw with? Because I mean, I don't know no amigos I can get some fresh raw on. You know,
what does that mean?
And unless you got
hold on. Not everybody that listens is from goddamn Light My Fart South. What is fresh raw?
I'm just saying, like some clean coke that ain't cut that you can do what you do with. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you don't have a connect like that to come up off of, the odds is you got to be smart with your money. You got to put another type of hustle down. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, how hungry are you, nigga? How bad do you really want it? Do you want it if the opportunity arises? Are you willing to create your own fucking opportunity? Or you gonna,
okay? Calm down. Calm down.
Hold on. Let me finish. Are you only going to do it if your wife agrees? Or are you going to tell her, you know what I'm saying, you wanting to prosper, but you're sitting here bitching, running your mouth? Or are you willing to get on the motherfucking train, you know what I'm saying, and support me to do what I need to do to make this shit happen?
Okay, calm down.
As long as you involve other people, it's like somebody's got to lead because, like, it's like, you know, me and the wife, you know, we go back and forth sometimes, and I see a clear path, and sometimes I try to compromise on her perception. Even though I know that compromising her perception in the moment it's delaying my progress by an infinite amount of time. But you know, she usually comes around and sometimes prosper, and then sometimes, you know, we just don't. Sometimes we just have to, you know, sacrifice everything we fucking own down to a shoebox and then load up the motherfucking truck and put it in the wind. So you got to be willing to make them decisions. That's all I'm saying. Is how bad do you want it? You know, are you comfortable? You know what I'm saying, in a situation of frustrating complaints and poverty, or is a motherfucker gonna go out here and cut down a goddamn rainforest to build a fucking empire?
Calm down. Before this episode turns into the last four, where we turn this into Rich Dad Poor Dad. All I was trying to say is that I have zero intention of wanting. I don't at this point. I'm even going to say this as a precursor. I don't give a fuck at this point. Just to say this. If I work a fucking regular job the rest of my life, if I don't want it to be putting on work boots, leather gloves, pissing in somebody's cup, sitting in safety meetings. You know the one thing I can't stand about the oil field? If I had to boil it down to one thing, the one thing, nothing's marked. Nothing is ever marked. The trucks, the levers, the valves, the streets, the fucking where you go to, nothing's ever marked. Nothing's ever labeled. Nothing. Everything's worn off. You can't tell what it is. You have to sit there and be like, you either have to have a great memory or you have to have been doing it for 100 years or something. Nothing is ever marked. There's never, like on the two valves for the gear pump, And the blower valve, it's never marked. It's always worn the fuck off. So you have to go to some old cocksucker that's been doing this for fucking way too long. And he's got to be like, oh, the one on the left is for the blower valve. The other one's for the mass port pump. Nothing's ever marked. Or when you drive out to a goddamn rig site, it's never marked. Well, you're going to come up, you're going to see a tree. It's going to have a notch out of it. There's going to be a 2-track after that. You're going to turn down that 2-track. Then you're going to come to a decapitated owl being humped by a crow. Right? You're going to see that. You're going to go about 3 or 4 miles past that. Or if you're in the military, they're going to be like, you're going to go like 2 clicks past that. Nothing's marked. That's what kills me. If everything was clearly marked, if somebody went around the oil field with the little fucking label maker and wrote left, right, straight, up, down, in, out, vacuum, blow, I might have a better attitude about it.
Well, I don't know. I'll tell you what Daddy told me on the on his deathbed, nigga. You can't make the rules if you don't.
Did you really? You keep saying that. Did you really stand by your dad on his deathbed like in a movie?
No, well, it was. He went unconscious and then he died. But this was when he transitioned into the unconscious state. He's told me that through life. You know what I'm saying? Because we grew up self-employed, and Daddy was successful in what he did. But he was too generous and he was cash based. You know, and then he gave too many people his money. He helped too many people and bled himself out. But he held his head high. He was independent in what he done. So I guess that's successful in his own sense. But and being raised in that environment, you know, being responsible for your own house and your own money, and no one else making those decisions, it makes it very difficult to become someone's employee. So I spent like fucking 15 years as a worthless fucking employee because I couldn't accept the management. I couldn't accept decisions being made, whether they was right or wrong. I mean, that was his words to me. You can't make the rules if you don't own the company. You know what I'm saying? So if you don't own the company, you got to piss in the cup.
No, that's defeatist. There's other ways to make money. Fuck, my wife was making about $65,000 a year grooming dogs.
Yeah, you gotta hustle. Yeah, but if your cost of living and your quality of life is shit, so it doesn't matter, right? So there's places in the country where $35,000. I mean, you live like high on the hog, and there's places in the country where you make $200K and live out of tin can.
Could you imagine?
I'm just saying, like last year, after taxes. I burned through a substantial amount of money, and I mean, other than a few material items around me and the family stabilizing, I didn't have any money left to show for it. I mean, that's how much the vacuum of poverty, that's how impoverished I was. It sucked up a whole year's wages just stabilizing and replacing shit down to washcloths. So, there's more than one way to get a dollar, but you got to be willing to grind. Like, that doesn't mean that you can go out and, you throw your hands. They
you got it.
It's how bad you want it, man. You know what I mean? Like, do you want to go to the movies? Do you want to go on vacations and picnics and shit right now? Or are you willing to go out here and answer the fucking phone and grind and hustle bags? You know what I'm saying? Like, or you willing to go turn the valves and wear the gloves? I mean, like, I know that I ran the numbers on the things that I want to do, and it's not far off, but being a solo income and not having any time left to do anything else, I guess the biggest thing is knowing how to raise capital. So you don't have to go put gloves on and wear boots if you can organize and raise capital, and if you know some people that's got the money and you can go out and make the moves and make them believe in you, because I mean, it's whatever. It doesn't matter if the product's vacuum cleaners, cars, or a bag of weed. You got to know how to put the money together.
Speaking of, by the way, before we go further into Edward Jones here, I just got a request. I got a request from a fan for 4 cartridges and an ounce.
Damn.
Dude, I'm out here hustling like Meek Mill, dude.
Yeah, that's fire. I lost my page, man. I've been reading a new book. It's let me say this properly. Her name is Michelle Alexander, and
let me say this properly. Michelle Alexander.
Yeah, I didn't know her name. It could have been anybody. It could have been fucking Oprah, and I wouldn't have known it. And
Oprah.
But it's the new Jim Crow. The new Jim Crow. So far, it's a pretty good fucking read. I'm about halfway through it. Though I conflict on some of her ideals simply because I think she's a black woman, so she's shaping everything around race. I think that a lot of the message has been lost in that. But it's the new Jim Crow, mass incarceration and age of colorblindness. Great read. You should definitely get the book.
Bro, my instruction manual are the streets.
Okay. Well, I mean, I ain't as gangster as that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I'm starting to get messages back. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, man. North Dakota.
I'm telling you,
I
dude. I'm
guess
telling you. All you got to do.
Situation might arise.
Look. So what I'm saying is, I may or may not today have been trimming with a guy who may or may not have a bunch and may or may not only have like 60 or 70 of it pre-sold. And you may or may not know people in your area, and you may or may not want to tell them that there's some fucking fire going on. So you may or may not want to make money. I don't know. I'm not confirming or denying that.
Yeah, I just be chilling, dog. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't really be, you know what I'm saying, doing too much of nothing. I like to barbecue sometimes and drink coffee, nigga. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I want you to make money.
Everybody want to make money.
I want you to
I
be more
wanted you to
successful than I want me to be
wanted-
successful.
And I wanted you to remodel your garage so the cars were kept warm in winter, but you didn't want to do that.
Nah, we're going to downgrade out of here.
Are you?
Yeah, one of the fucking kids sleeps in the other bedroom, so one bedroom's not even being used.
Huh. I might have to, I don't know, we might have to do something there. Well, you don't get good internet there, do you?
No. And I want a
You
basement.
need internet.
I need
basements
basement.
are good and shit. Washing machines can go down there.
There ain't a lot of rentals in that area, man. I've looked up there like a gang of times, man. And then there's this one bitch from fucking Colorado, and I mean she might be a good person, so I don't mean nothing bad when I say this.
You just don't know
I
her
hate a
name?
fucking cunt, nigga. I hate a cunt, nigga. Like, you know what I'm saying? I hate these bitches and niggas too. I hate weak niggas too. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, fuck, nigga. You were advertising some shit for rent, bitch, nigga. I make more money than anybody that's in any one of your fucking rentals. And you want to meet and greet and go through a fucking 2-month-long goddamn interview process to rent a fucking house? Nigga, I'm not buying this bitch from life for you. You know what I'm saying? I want to use your property for a very specific amount of time, and I'm willing to pay you your asking price on it for a very specific amount of fucking time. You know what I'm saying? We're not dating. We're not fucking. You're not going to have my baby. We're not trying to get married. We're not going on vacation. I want to rent your fucking house. That's it. I want you to leave me the fuck alone, and if I call you, send a fucking plumber out. That's all you really need to do. You know what I'm saying? But instead, you want to motherfucking know where I went to school, who my fucking friends are, you know what I'm saying, what fucking field of work I'm in. It's none of your fucking business. Just know that I got the money to pay for it. That's the only thing you need to fucking know. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, that was my experience with the only cunt that would actually respond to me out there. Besides the weak nigga that didn't really want to rent me the fucking house because for some reason they're absolutely fucking scared to do it. Like, bitch, nigga, why are you in rentals if you're that scared to fucking rent, nigga? You gonna take a loss? You gonna make some money sometimes? I mean, what is it? You know what I'm saying? If you're not able to fucking handle the fucking stress of renting houses, fucking go bankrupt, nigga. Let the fucking the mortgage foreclose, or go get you some fucking 42-year-old high school dropout that took a real estate class to post your shit online and claim he's a fucking realtor.
Yeah, they could do that. Did you write all that in the description?
I'm just saying I hate a cunt. You know what I'm saying?
Well, nobody likes a cunt.
Yeah, I hate a cunt.
I just sent you something. Did you see it?
Yeah, I seen that shit.
Not that thing. I sent you something else.
I seen the shit, the Gucci belt, nigga.
Yeah, that's something important I want to think about. So we got Jay-Z, right? Jay-Z just recently aligned himself with the NFL.
Of course he did.
And now in a shocking turn of events, when he's asked about like Colin Kaepernick, he's like, well, it's not about kneeling anymore, right? Because to quote the Clips, the Clips, Pusha T, right? In the song Grindin', when he says, so much dough I can't swear I won't change. Jay-Z's up there, right? He's no longer wearing, he doesn't got the headbands on anymore. He's no longer talking about fucking BK, his fucking stash box over on 125th Street. He's up there sitting next to Roger Goodell laughing, doing his thing. Then the meme I sent you, right? You look at fucking two old white men who have invariably changed the face of society. Warren Buffett and Bill Gates. They ain't out there wearing Gucci. They ain't out there wearing rings. And I've checked. They both came from middle class, right? Nothing extravagant. Yeah. So they didn't have to prove anything. They're not like, I came from nothing, so you got to see this pinky ring. These motherfuckers are like, I'm so rich, I laugh. They laugh and rich. They're like, that's the I own shit laugh.
They collect humans rich.
Renting jewelry. Who the fuck rents jewelry?
A lot of people used to rent jewelry, nigga.
Rent jewelry. Like, these guys are so rich that they could be spending money every day for the rest of the year. Spending money the rest of the year, and they could never be close to going broke. And they're wearing goofy.
They couldn't touch the interest on what they make.
They're tucking their t-shirts into their fucking pants. Goofy as fuck. It's a goddamn shame.
It's an image. I think you're missing the point of a lot of shit, Sean. Is that a lot of these boys that are like in the rap game and stuff like that, and they're coming up, street hustlers and stuff. They're selling the image, and the image is what's making them rich. It's poor niggas that want to feel a little bit of separation from the fucking poverty and work release position that they're in. So, when they see a nigga make it out and he's showing you money, nice things that are equated to value and to quality of life and independence, right? People gather to that, they're attracted to that. So in return, the more attraction that they can gain from flaunting that, it puts more money in their bank, and then they're able to live the life that they're trying to sell. So it's an image versus, value, money retainment type, situation. You know what I mean?
Hold on. I'm looking it up. I'm looking this up here. Because here's the thing. It is the image. But there are some rappers out there who didn't come from nothing. And I think that's insanely important. I think it's insanely important to recognize that.
It's hard for me to appreciate. It's hard for me to appreciate. I mean, cool, rapping is rapping, right? But the story and the following, it's hard for me to It's not like you singing like a romantic song, something that can connect with everybody, right? You telling these stories about, what a nigga's life was, and the shit you overcome and the shit you deal with and dealt with daily. And the motivation, like a lot of raps, like Kevin Gates, man, a lot of that nigga shit's about, about getting it, coming back, and climbing up out the mud. And, in Bootsy, the same thing, sometimes some of his shit go left field, but Bootsy had you angry on some shit, but...
I don't like Boosie. Why is his eyes purple?
For me, man, it's like I think it's the connection there. Of somebody else's struggle that's similar, but the motherfuckers made it out for whatever reason and obtained something. Now, I'm not trying to say. I think a lot of them though get stuck in the lifestyle, and then they forget they don't have to be a criminal no more. You know what I mean? But I'm not condoning the shit that's done. Because, motherfuckers, sometimes they know they're making wrong moves, but sometimes you're in a position where you don't have anything but two choices to make, a bad decision and a really bad decision. So you got to take the lesser of two evils if you want to eat. But
Jermaine Dupri. Did you know Jermaine Dupri's dad was an executive at Columbia Records?
No, I didn't know that.
I'm sure that had nothing whatsoever to do with his hustle.
Yeah. I'm just saying, man, how bad you want to eat, nigga. And there's nothing more valuable out here than yourself, you know what I mean? Do you want to trade hours of your life for dollars, or do you want to trade dollars for dollars, And if you can put money
Kid
on
Rock.
like little slaves for you, you know what I'm saying? Then you're doing something. Well, you know, Kid Rock is what Kid Rock is. I don't know Kid Rock. I don't really fuck.
Kid
with
Rock's
him.
dad owned a Lincoln dealership in Detroit.
Yeah, that's go figure. But I'll just be chilling, nigga. You know what I'm saying?
I just want the best for you.
Yeah.
More than I want for
I
me.
don't know. I don't believe all that, but I hear you.
I don't believe all that. Are you kidding me? I want the best for all the people around me. I'm just trying to find my place in the sun.
You know,
but I want the best for the people around me.
You know, I think a motherfucker got to create his own sun, man. I think that the world really, man, it's like sometimes I be trapped in my daily responsibilities, and I know this is sad to say, but I feel like if I didn't have to worry about feeding other people and clothing and housing, you know what I mean, and I could go out here and really devote myself and immerse myself into the hustle and do what's required to make it, like I think that I could change my social status pretty quick. And I'm not saying that doesn't come without hardships, but I have to. My plan has to be different, being that there's so many people in my family dependent upon.
Okay,
I can't gamble.
Mahatma Gandhi.
Go ahead.
Mahatma Gandhi.
Yeah, I guess.
You know Gandhi, right?
Where's this? Yeah, where does this fit into what we're saying?
What I'm saying is, I just looked it up. At his death, Mahatma Gandhi's net worth was $1,000, right? Broke. I'm broke. Everybody knows who the fuck he is, and he changed the world in his right. That's the energy I'm on.
It's not. It don't just. It don't just take money or whatever, man. It's hard, man. Niggas to make moves, man. You gotta be strong in the mind. All I'm saying is my moves have got to be a little bit more calculated, and I can't take as big a risk. Because I can't right now. I'm not in a position like I'm wiped the fuck out. You know, and it's like if I take any more of a loss, nigga, I'm homeless. You know what I'm saying?
No, I'll take you in. I was at Comic-Con yesterday, right? I took my son there because this might be.
No, I don't understand what you're saying. I would like to understand, but like I haven't been able to do anything.
You wouldn't
with my
like Comic-Con
family.
anyways. It's not up your alley.
Let me finish. I haven't been able to do anything meaningful with my family in fucking years. So, but please tell me so I can enjoy a little bit of your experience.
Well, if it makes you happy, I had to lie about his age so I didn't have to pay for him to get in. So I went to Comic-Con, and one of the first booths I ran into was Podcast Detroit. It's a place in Detroit, and what they do is they run podcasts. They run a studio. They do all the editing, and they do all the marketing for you. It's $60 an hour, right? So I'm up here in this fuckhole town. We're doing a podcast. I try to put it together. I try to do some editing. I try to do whatever marketing I can understand. And it gives me some sense of purpose when I talk to people like, oh, I do a podcast, right? And they're like, oh, you do a podcast? And then people are just like, what? Right? So I get down to Detroit, away from my fuckhole town of 2,700 people, and I get down to Detroit, right? Big-ass city. There's probably 17,000 people in this fucking convention center. And I talked to the guy, Podcast Detroit. Shout out to Podcast Detroit. You could be a sponsor. And for the first time in a long time, I felt like a dumbass telling the guy, like, oh, I run a podcast. Because then it made me realize that my place in the universe, amongst all these people in the world, so many goddamn people have a podcast that it doesn't even matter. I was telling this guy, basically, hey, you're a human being. I have elbows, too. Yeah. And it put me into perspective. Okay. It put me into perspective, and it made me think, and it made me realize why in the first place I got the fuck out of my small town. Why in the first place I left the trees and the solace and the canned beer and the summers up here and just the big fish in the small pond mentality, because it's the same reason that you don't want to surround yourself with people that are telling you you're doing okay. Because you will never get anywhere if you feel comfortable all the time. Ever. Yeah. And it made me feel uncomfortable telling this guy, out of everybody that I tell I have a podcast, telling this guy, well, I have a podcast. Yeah. And this guy is like, who gives a fat baby's dick? what you have.
Yeah.
Because motherfucker, I'm sitting in Comic-Con with my own booth, running a podcast company. So, good job that you have a microphone and can use a website.
Yeah.
And it kind of it showed me my place in the universe, and it made me realize, to quote the late great Thomas Richards, you gotta be hungry, right? Not hungry with a U, hungry with an O. Hungry.
Yeah.
And it put a lot into perspective for me, because it's like, along with your Kevin Gates, bottom row gold, you got to be hungry. That doesn't always mean you got to be rubbing your hands together and you got to be standing on the street corner. You got to be, hey, you want some weed? You want some weed? You want some weed? You got to be focused. You got to know what to put together. You got to make sure that every step makes a footprint. And that shit's hard.
Mm-hmm.
I trimmed a bunch of weed today. I got a bunch of people that want cartridges and ounces. That doesn't mean I'm anything. I'm going to edit a podcast and put it up online tonight. It doesn't mean I'm anything. But the one thing it is part of, and it's the one thing I'm learning to love, and to throw back to episode 28, Eating Assets, it's that process. And it's scary when you tell people that they should be hungry. Oh, you got to be hungry. Because then people are going, am I hungry or not? Hungry doesn't mean you're going to stay up till 1 o'clock in the morning trying to get that perfect beat and the perfect bar. Hungry means that you're going to dedicate an hour every day of your waking life, at least an hour, just 1 hour, to making sure that you're going to further your goal. So when I told this old white fat man who fucking looked so unimpressed that I told him I had a podcast, that's what made me hungry. That I told somebody something and they could give 2 fucks less that I actually gave them information. That I sit here and I struggle and I think and I care about it. And so one day, I'm going to take a shit in front of Podcast Detroit Studio. A literal shit. Right in front of their fucking front door.
Nigga. There you go. There you go. See, that's the attitude that needs to be approached with right there, nigga. Like, fucking pussy, nigga. It is what it is. I'm going to shit on a nigga doorstep.
I'm going to shit on his fucking doorstep because, motherfucker, I just told you I have a podcast. And you were just like, okay, well, I wrote a podcast company. Like, fuck off. Fuck you and the youngest child in your family.
Damn. Yeah, that's real. That's savage.
I just read something that's kind of funny, though. Hillary Clinton came on the show to take a lie detector test, and I'd just been told the machine has committed suicide.
That's funny.
Fucking white people.
Yeah. All right. Wait a minute. Hour 7, nigga. I think it's a good time for you to talk to our sponsors and thank all the awesome motherfucking people that listen to us and shit. And
well, shout out to Shake Shack. Shout out to Shake Shack. Shout out to Podcast Detroit. You could be one of the sponsors. Shout out to Kevin Gates. Call me.
Yeah, you ought to thank the Michigan Department of Transportation for all the commercial real estate at the rest areas they provide for you to further your cause.
Shout out to MDOT, Michigan Department of Transportation, for keeping them motherfuckers clean so I got the tax on my knees. I'm out there fucking call me fucking Dumbledore, yo, because I'm the headmaster.
damn.
So thanks for anybody that listens out there, anybody that's still with us in this long haul towards fucking ultra stardom. And remember, if you're out there and you fucking sucking a dick in some stall on fucking exit 24, right, and somebody sees your sneakers and they're banging on the door and they fucking call the authorities and they dragging you out there and you still got a little spittle on your lips, never, ever go quietly. Peace.